Okay, here we go for lesson 8, unit 1, last coding practice of unit 1, but it's for lesson 8. The assignment's not a practice, it's a hardcore thing. So as we're looking at this for, excuse me, lesson 8 talks about analog versus digital and how we receive things and the difference of how we receive information. And there's a little bit of an analog and digital sound thing there with your sketch. So as we look at this, the main thought here is that you'll be able to describe the difference of analog and digital data and data compression. And sometimes we shorten things. We assign values. We want to compress things to make them easier to do. And so that's what we're looking at on this one as we dive into the code practice here. And so they've given us this part here of Old MacDonald. Okay, and it gives you the song there of Old MacDonald had a farm, E-I-E-I-O, blankety blank, blank, blank. And what they want to do, they've created this code that has multiple errors in it. Okay, it has multiple errors in it. So as we look at this, we first notice as we look at this, okay, so animal, we have an input statement of entering an animal and then the sound the animal makes, and you can put in there whatever you want it to. But then it has E equals E. And if we look at this first line, Old MacDonald had a farm plus E, well, it's just going to say E. It's not going to say E, I, E, I, O. Okay, that's the thought. So first thing we need to do is substitute that for this. So we need to define this E as E-I-E-I-O. And then we go through and notice we got a comma and a space and a plus and an E, no quote there. And on his farm he had a sound? No, he didn't have a sound. On the farm he had some animal. So we need to change this for animal. Not only do we need to do that, but if you'll notice this A is right next to the quote, this comma is right next to the quote, and then it ends in E-I-E-I-O. So there's a lot of debugging that needs to go on here. With the animal here, no, there's not an animal. This is supposed to be a sound. So again, this needs to be switched. There's a space here, and a, but there's not a space here. So there needs to be a space right there. With a sound and a sound, that's correct. There, okay. Here a sound, there a, oh, look, no space, sound. Notice there's not a space here, that's no big deal. We don't need to worry about that. We can let that go. Everywhere a animal sound? No, this should be sound again. And there should be a space right here. Old MacDonald had a farm. They put a space right there. This is one of y'all typing, isn't it? E-I-E-I-O. Okay, so remember, first thing, let's go up here and redefine E. Instead of just being E, it's E-I-E-I-O. We have to go in and make sure we have an animal where there's supposed to be an animal. We have sound where there's supposed to be a sound. And we have spaces where we need spaces. So again, I'll slide this up. Animal's entering an animal. Sound enters a sound. E is E-I-E-I-O. On that farm, MacDonald had a farm, comma, space, then E-I-E-I-O, or E. We've created that algorithm there, made this a little bit simpler. And we've defined what animal and sound are for our variables. And so they've gone through and put the correct spaces in each place. Spaces at the beginning and the end of each section here. There's not a space on our dashes, which I didn't point that out, I apologize. Up here, they have spaces. They don't need a space here or here. Okay, we don't want spaces in between our sounds. Here they have a space. They don't have a space here. They do, so we need to get rid of that one. So there's some other things we need to correct. Old MacDonald had a farm, comma, space, and then our E-I-E-I-O. Okay, yeah, that one's a little bit more in depth, but get ready for it because the next thing you're going to do is the assignment. After you do the review, do the assignment, and boy, then that becomes a pistol. Okay, any questions? Great. I hope you have a good rest of the day.